question, we'll bring one to you. Coach, whenever you're ready.
Obviously, that was an extremely emotional game. It was a fantastic win for Middle Tennessee, Coach Stockstill. With all the emotion that was going on with Coach Schaefer coming back, my hat's off to all those guys. It was a nice job, and now we need to pick up and move on from here. There's nobody to blame but myself. You know, it's my job to get them ready. They weren't ready. We didn't handle the emotional roller coaster of all the stuff that was brought into this game, and all the blame should be put right here.
Questions for Coach? Mark on the right. Coach?
I can barely hear you.
All right.
If you put it down and just talk to me, I can hear you that way.
Coach, how much do you think Scott's knowledge of a lot of your players had to do with his defense being so successful?
You know, I can sit here and try to go around it, but I told you, if you're a good coach and you have a lot of knowledge about the personnel, it's an advantage. You know, I've been in a couple of these games myself, and I'm undefeated in them. You know, when you know a lot about the other team and you're not guessing about it, it's a huge advantage.
I guess just why do you think they weren't ready? I mean, we saw some miscues from some older players who played a lot of football games here and there.
I think it has a lot to do with the emotional roller coaster that started on Monday with, hey, this, that, this, that. You guys have had a lot to do with that too. Don't turn around and look at anybody. So, you know, it was going to be that type of game. It was going to be an emotional game, and I didn't felt like they handled it very well, and that's my fault.
Coach, second row on the right.
Coach, this game very close, came down to the last few seconds. Was this game one that was worth $1 million for Syracuse football?
You know what? I've been in a bunch of these games too where I won the game and took the checks at other universities. The price at the game doesn't matter. What matters is kids crying and not crying, people winning and not winning, and then what you do after a game like this. Virginia Tech took a loss like this and came back and won their side of the conference. I'm looking in my men's eyes, and I want to know what we're going to do with a loss like this.
Third row on the left.
Hold on a second. Coach, I know Dungy may have hurt his knee in the third quarter. Can you just talk to that and anything long-term extent of that?
He came back in the game, so I'm going to – if he came back in the game and our doctors let him back in the game, that means he's okay. So he'll be all right.
Mark on the right.
We'll try this again. Coach, it seemed like your offense was pretty determined to go side to side and hit kind of the edges and not down the middle. Would you agree with that amateur assessment of mine, and can you tell us why?
Well, we tried to throw a couple of balls over the middle, and there we had vision seeing. All the gaps were plugged because everybody was blitzing, so we had some vision problems.
Dino, it seemed like there were times maybe that emotion resulted in them being the more physical team out there. I mean, is that
When you say
fair?
they, who are you referring to?
Middle Tennessee. Did you feel like their team kind of out-physical or out-toughed you at the end?
I don't believe that at all. I thought that I saw Zaire hit somebody and then he just gave the ball up. I thought it was one of the harder hits that were out there. I saw a lot of stuff going on during plays and after plays, but that's not toughness. You know, I think that we matched the physical battle in every way.
More concentration.
You know, we left a lot of plays out there, offensively and defensively.
Second row, Coach, on your right.
Coach, the first half, the defense was playing really well, and then during the second half, they confused straight drives where they gave up points. Was there any real positive take from the first half, or was it mainly just the defense getting tired in the second half?
I don't think they were tired. If you look at the play count, I think they were somewhere around 60 plays. The other defense was out there 90 plays, and they were playing just as hard. So I don't think the tired thing is going to hold up at all. You got to just look at the numbers.
Nico?
Coach in the back, you mentioned a moment ago when you were saying how Virginia Tech had a loss like this and they came back to win their division. What do you say to the guys this week to make sure they do bounce back in time for the game next Saturday?
Well, the first thing that we need to do, Nico, is we need to go back and we need to re-examine ourselves tomorrow. And it has to be an honest evaluation. I mean, you got to drop the E so we can go. And these young men, sometimes you look at them and you tell them the truth and sometimes they believe you, sometimes they don't. I guarantee you all 104 of them will believe tomorrow in that meeting. And with that belief, we have an opportunity to be better.
Coach, when Dungey gets hurt in a game like this early in the season again, does your mind ever go to who's my third-string quarterback, the backup for Mahoney, especially with Rex Culpepper playing last week and Tommy DeVito trying to maintain the red shirt?
No, my mind never goes to my third-team quarterback. No, sir.
Dino, it took until midway through the second quarter until Irvin Phillips got his first target in this game. Is there a reason why he wasn't as involved early on?
No, we were just trying to do some other things. Obviously, if you watch some of the plays we were doing early, we had some of those plays there. We just weren't making the plays. I think he ended up with 7 catches or something like that, close to that. I think he needs to. He's one of those guys that, you know, we're always trying to get the ball to, but when we opened up early, they were double covering him a lot in some of the formations we were having, so we had to move the ball around, so which was a good plan on their part. And then we put him in some different spots where it was a lot more difficult for them to do that, so we could get the ball to him.
You know, I know you said a lot of it was mental. Was there anything they did schematically that you were impressed with, or that you thought you guys really struggled with?
You know, I would love to say, hey, they did this, they did that. Really, especially from the defensive side, came out and did what we thought they were going to do. They were going to pressure us. They were going to hit us. They were going to hit us on time. They were going to hit us right to the echo of the whistle. And they came out and did those things. We had opportunities to make plays out in space, and we didn't capitalize on all those opportunities out in space. If you capitalize on those opportunities, the game changes, and it's a lot different game. But you don't get to replay it. You know, you only get 1 or 2 chances. And once it goes down the you know what, then it's no good for you. So, hey, it was a good game plan, and we didn't function well as a team, and that's my fault.
Time for 2 more questions. Joe.
Coach, besides the result of this game, I think one thing that fans are going to come away with, that they saw Chris Elmore carry the ball quite a bit. Can you speak to how you thought that formation did today, especially in the red zone?
I thought it did very well, and I thought for Chris Elmore to be in his first collegiate game and have perfect ball security was something that's really big. You look at some of the other young men in their first games, and they're making mental mistakes. They're a drop here or a fumble there or a defensive guy missing a tackle. But for him to come in and play that type of game, in this type of game, this was for a second game of the year, it was a big game based off of all the things that was going on around. And for him to play like that was really exciting to see.
Final question for Coach. Yes?
Maybe it's just things compiled and you're not used to seeing your team make so many mistakes, but was there a point where you, like, remember thinking, like, this team is not emotionally or mentally where I need them to be?
When we put balls on the ground, when we don't make calls, those are mental mistakes. Those aren't physical mistakes. That's not somebody hitting you, knocking you out, separated. Like I said, Zaire separated somebody from the ball. I mean, that's physical. Okay, our guys were, there were plays that they could have made, and for whatever the reasons, they didn't make the play. And because they didn't make the play, the other team had a lot of success, and you got to take your hat off for that.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.